going on, internets? It's been a long, about 3 months now. This video is going to be about how to paint the Razor Crest, right? So at this point, I have all my pieces. They're printed out. I printed in a PLA matte finish, which came out really well. As far as I'm concerned, especially compared to the first one that I printed off. And so what I've done from this point from the hard print is I've gone through and I've sanded, I've cleaned up spots that needed to be cleaned up. From there, what I have done is I have already gone through and primed my ship. Now, the primer that I used, wasn't filler primer. It's just a regular primer. There is there's a reason why I didn't choose filler primer, and I like some of this texture that's already in the ship. And for what I'm going for, this ship is rough, it's dirty, it's nasty, so it's going to fit really well. And I'm not going to really have to spend a too terrible amount of time of actually going through and getting this bad boy painted. Now, if you watch the behind the scenes of The Mandalorian, you'll see that they took resin prints and they were sanding and priming for it. They said like months that they were prepping their ship, and honestly, without the cost to make this to go up and the time it's going to be needed to do all that, I don't think it's not worth it. So what we have, I feel is going to be good enough. The paint that we're going to use is also good enough. So the first part, after you prime, obviously you want to go through your print, make sure your print is still good. That there's no areas that need to be addressed or touched up. It will make itself abundantly obvious. So just kind of go through your prints, look at them, make sure you get any dust and debris and stuff off of it. And the first process that we're going to do is we are going to give the silver coating something to lay on top of. Now, this gray is going to be great. So normally I would say, yeah, just go ahead and paint it chrome or silver or whatever colors that you're going to be doing. What I'm going to actually end up doing is I'm going to do my Blackline first. And so what that means is I'm going to take black paint and I'm going to go through, I'm going to paint all these panel lines. And what that's going to do is once I actually add my chrome and my silver to it, it's already going to start having the panel line and accentuations are going to start happening. So we're going to jump right into there. I'm going to get the fan kicked on, get my blacks in the airbrush, and we're going to get to it. And I'll show you, I'll do an engine piece because I feel it's probably going to be the dirtiest. So I'll show you how I do the engine piece, and then it's up to y'all to go through at that point and get the rest of it painted. All right. So here we go. Okay, so like always, I got my fan going. I probably really need a better paint setup, but you know what? This works for me. So the black that I'm using a Vallejo Model Colors Black 70.950. So this is a matte black. You can use gloss black, it doesn't really matter. I've always had issues with black. I don't know if it's the pigment in it or what, but it always seems it wants to dry out on my airbrush. So I've gone through and I've added in my blacks already. I've already pre-thinned them so I can go straight from the bottle. So if you're using black, you haven't thinned your airbrush yet, then you need to make sure you do that. So I'll give a couple of test prints, make sure my chamber's dry. Sure, it got a nice range of motion there. Okay, so we're good. So like I said, I'm gonna go through, and the first thing that I do is just, I'm gonna go in here. I'm not being super careful. I'm just laying down some nice black lines, and you want to make sure that you get in to all the little corners with the black. Really want to fill out all these lines. Make sure they're nice and dark. And this is literally it. It's just you got to repeat this step a whole bunch of times for each part. But you'll see as soon as we start laying down our actual colors, how this black will resonate through. So with this, I say just let your imagination run wild. I'll literally hit up every panel that I can. I'll hit up any cracks. I'm trying to make sure I hit stuff from multiple angles. That way I know my black is getting in there. So the other thing you want to consider is all your detail here. Now, of course, you can go through and you can try to paint all these lines, but not needed. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to go back and forth, and I'm going to hit up all these detailed areas, make sure I get nice coverage in there. Now, like I said, you don't have to be super cautious when you do this. You see, I'm kind of just going for it, really. Okay. Now, with the engine, since we know this spot is actually the back piece, we can go ahead and we can pretty much paint this entire back portion of the engine black. Okay, for detail's sake, can you make sure you get inside the actual engine? Okay, so that's it, really. When you look at this, sorry, I moved it. Let me get it back towards me some. So yeah, so that's really it. That's all you're gonna do. You're gonna hit up all your lines, anything that you want to be darkened, and then, like I said, when we start laying down our actual silver color, this kind of stuff, right? Like, we can lay our silver down and cover that up. It's going to be completely fine. And actually, when we do our colors, I'm going to be using a whole bunch of different types of metallic colors, and I'm going to do everything in my lightest color, which is chrome, and then I'm going to go back through with darker shades, and I'm actually going to make pretty much a whole bunch of circles. And what that's going to do is going to create a contrast that goes into these actual panel lines. So I found that this was the best way to do it. So yeah, definitely just go through all your pieces. I'm going to try to break this video up between each section, between each color and stuff like that. Hopefully YouTube will cooperate with me when I do it. So now that this one's done, I'm going to get the rest of them painted, and then I'll catch back up to you for the chrome portion. All right.